everybody, it's Mully down in my lab again, and I'm going to try and do something different in a couple of ways. Different than my normal, like this piece of gear, jams, that sort of thing. What I'm going to try and do in this video, and I'm going to have to do it in several parts because it's going to take a while, is I'm going to try and build a stand. A synth stand for my Volcas, and let's see, I also have a Behringer Neutron. It's obviously getting crowded here. It doesn't look very good. I got cable management issues. My son actually claims that my cable management would give people anxiety. So I think it's about time to build a stand that can hold some of these devices and tidy things up a bit, make it a little bit more organized and efficient. So I looked and looked and looked online, and I could not find exactly what I wanted. There's stands for Behringer stuff. There's stands for Volcas. There's not really stands for Volcas and Behringers. I also want to be able to put my Meeblips on them, maybe some effects. So what I settled on is I want it to be 3 tiers with the Neutron on the bottom and some Volca-sized tiers going up from there. So this is my first sort of sketch up of this. If you can see it, whoops. Breaking my lights here. Get that off of that so it's not quite so bright. And I'm not really good at woodworking or anything like that, so this is going to be an experience. We can all, I don't know, laugh or cry together at the work that I'm doing. But this is pretty much a mock-up of what it's going to look like. I'm going to have to redraw this on the wood once I get it actually on there. And what I did to do this is I started off just by tracing really the outline of the Neutron. You can see that's the Neutron on the bottom there. And then I grabbed my Volcas, and I figured, well, I want one here about, because one thing I really want is roughly, and let's see if I have it. Yeah, I want there to be enough space. I don't want them sitting on top of each other like you often see. I want there to be enough space so that a MIDI cable can fit through, so that we can do some cable management on the back. That's what these little hook things are. You can get teacup hooks and maybe hold some cables, or maybe a little bit larger hook. So I figured I wanted this guy about here compared to the Neutron. And then if I'm going up for a second tier, I want that about here. So that's kind of how I laid it out. And I think this is a good sort of rough in for what I'm going to be doing. I'm planning on cutting some slots in here so that I can put a shelf in. And then I'm going to have just some 1x. I've decided I want to have 2 1x's down here. So my next step is going to be to cut a small piece of 1x out and then trace it in the places where that's going to go, so I can draw some screw holes in for that, and then to cut all this out. Yeah, I'm also going to need to complete the sort of nose there. I'm going to make 3 of these. So it's going to be a little challenging. There's going to be 2 end pieces that are going to be identical. Then there's going to be a middle piece that chops off here because it can't go over the Neutron. And we're going to have to cut these 1x holes out. And it's going to have to slide in. But it's going to be like a center spline. And my hope is that I can maybe put some sort of handle or something on that, and I can use maybe blocks of wood to make sure these don't wiggle around too much, and then I could just kind of grab it up like that, maybe put a big hook somewhere that you can just kind of wrap all the cables around once they're unplugged, and be able to carry it kind of like that, because everything would be sort of situated like that. So this is the sort of planning stage and how I'm planning it and drawing it out. This will probably, my goal is to cut this out, trace it onto some wood, figure out where the actual screw holes are going to be so I can put it on, and then be able to use that template and draw it a little bit better in a couple places, and then I can use, once I cut that piece of wood out, I can use that as a template for the next one and the next one. But the last one, I'm just going to have to cut that bit off there. We'll see how it looks. I'm excited about this. This is going to be fun. All right, I cut out a little piece of the 1x stock I'm going to be using for some of these pieces on here, and I traced around those so I can do some cutouts and fill holes and things like that. So I'm going to have two right next to each other down here, and these two over here are going to be spaced further apart so they can hold the neutron better. And I still have yet to get my scrap wood. I have some pieces that I think will go well in here. So I still have to measure that out and cut it out. But I'm going to cut this all out now, so I can have a template to put on some scrap plywood and use some of this leftover 1x stuff that I have. So scrap plywood, scrap 1x, scrap wood for the shelves, and it'll be a pretty much a free synth stand if I can pull it off. All right, that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to draw a round off in the toe here a little bit. I just ran out of cardboard, and I don't know if I'm going to keep that hard line where the Volca would kind of end, but we'll see. Those parts are kind of decorative anyways. I also cut out this this brace, this one, and this one, so that I can chop off this area here and have a center spline, because that's the goal. I need to make two of these, and then I need to make one of it cut off, so I don't need to cut out the two down here. I just need to be able to mark them for screws. So let's get a pencil and start tracing some of these out. I'm actually going to need the Neutron to measure how far apart they are, because there are some screw heads that sort of stick out a little bit on the sides of the Neutron. So I want it to be pretty snug. All right, I got this shape here drawn out on the scrap wood I have. Got my Jig Saw ready to go. This wood has a good side and a bad side. So after I trace this and cut it out, I'm going to flip it over so I have the good sides on the outside of the synth stand. Make it look a little bit better, a little snazzier. And I figured it out, and we can cut two out of this last piece of scrap wood. This actually fits, if you flip it over, pretty neatly, because we'll be flipping the whole thing over. This fits pretty neatly like that, but you might be able to see a little bit in the video. I kind of cut the cardboard at a bit of an angle in some places, so I don't want to flip this over. I don't want to flip over the cardboard and trace it. So I'll be flipping over the wood and tracing it like that in this area. So we are on a roll so far. I also, you can see on the drawing, I got my other pieces of scrap wood that'll be the shelves, and I drew in their thickness there. Oh, I got to cut that out and draw where the cuts will go on the scrap wood here. There you can see I got the shelf cutouts in there. and we're ready to start cutting. It is getting a little dark out, so I'm probably going to get a work light so I can see a bit better. Here we go, got some work light on it, so you can see the drawing and the cutouts a little bit better, and so can I. So here's the jigsaw. Time to get to work on this one. I'm going to try and get to 3 cuts done tonight, and then work on putting it all together and finishing it tomorrow. But it's all going to be one video, so see you on the other side. I've got my first piece cut out here, and you can see I went a little over the top here because that was actually the tip of the Volca, and I wanted to go up just a little bit higher. So that's how that'll go. I need to cut out these sections for the shelves, and then this boot will be done. I'll flip it over and actually trace this one on the other side. You can see I added some toe in there, and we'll be tracing off this one for the rest of them, just because I want it to be uniform. So even if it's kind of messed up, it'll be messed up all the same. Here you can see what I mean by having a good side and a bad side. This side is a little bit more finished, would probably require a little bit less sanding. This side has this like garbage on it, but that won't be seen so much. So huzzah. And you can see I got the cutouts. I have the scrap wood right here that I use to make sure it fits in there. And that scrap wood is literally just stuff I picked up on out of somebody's garbage, actually. So we're coming along. So I got to do this cut, and then I got to cut the centerpiece, and then I can cut the pieces that'll connect them together. And I don't think I'm going to fully assemble it tonight, although I don't know, maybe later tonight. I just hope to get all the cutting done pretty soon here. Point out that, in this whole project, this is the first and quite possibly only measurement I'll be taking, and that's going to be the inside. And I actually had to kind of smack these clamps because it's just barely wide enough. But I think we're going to go with a little bit wider, so 16 and I don't know, is that 7/8? 16 and 7/8, because you can see there's a little screw head there, and that's I don't want to go straight to the outside of the enclosure, because then you're not taking that screw head into account and you're not going to get it in. But I do want it to be a snug fit, so 16 and 7/8 is probably right about where I'll put it. Alright, I've got the center spline traced out here. You can see it's going to end right there. I'm not actually putting the whole boot on, but I traced it on there. This is actually some like cabinet grade plywood. It's a little bit thinner than the other stuff I was working on, but it is very nice on both sides, and I think that's going to help a bit with how it looks, because you may be able to see it a bit more than the other inside ones. So I don't know, we'll see. I think the goal is also going to be to route these at some point to knock off the sort of hard right angle edges. That may happen tomorrow. I don't know if that's going to happen today, but maybe part of the finishing process. If I can get everything kind of cut and mocked up. Oh, I got to cut the holes on these too. I got to draw those. If I can get everything mocked up today, that would be good. Sort of take the screws out, finish it tomorrow. Routing, sanding, and I don't know. I got some clear spray paint, or I don't know if I have any finish. I don't know if I kind of want to use it. I don't know if I have the patience to finish it. We'll see. So I made made some marks here. I did that using a speed square for a straight edge. The idea is I can use this, index it on my cutouts, and then draw, using the straight edge, a spot for a pilot hole for screws, and it should be pretty much the same on both sides. I have all of my braces, all 6 of them. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this is going to be the middle spline, and I cut these out and made sure that these fit through all of them. And then after I get those pilot holes drilled, get the ends on and that in the middle, all I'm going to have to do next is cut this for the shelves and then finish it. So I'm hoping to have everything with the finishing work done tonight, including it sort of set up together real quick. And maybe I'll even take it down to the basement lab and kind of mock put everything on it, only to sort of take it apart tomorrow and do some sanding, some routing, and stuff like that. But so far it's pretty good. Like I said, I only took one measurement. Everything else I've kind of like hand drawn. The only tools I've used are that speed square, and that's more of a convenience thing. You could just use almost any straight edge. I used that Jig Saw, and I used a screwdriver drill, and a tape measure. That's all it takes to do this project. We're getting close. I drilled the pilot holes, and I'm going to be assembling this all together. These are just a little bit smaller than these screws that I have. These are self-tapping decking screws left over from something. So these are also not costing me anything. So my trusty variable speed Craftsman there. I hope these aren't overkill for the 1x that I'm going to have going through there. I hope I don't split it. I'm not drilling pilot holes on the 1x just because these ended up not being super precisely laid out. So the next shot should be of all of this together, and then I can put the shelves in and draw them out and cut the shelves, and it'll be roughed in and it'll be all over but the finishing. Okay, this is the sort of final rough cut of it. Still needs finishing, sanding, routing. Routing's kind of optional, but this is it. It's in my basement. It's a little messy down here, so sorry about that. But we can check this out. Fit a Neutron in right there real nicely. Boom. There's room for Volca. And we come up here. We can plop in a Meeblip and some effects pedals. And boom. Starting to look pretty good all of a sudden. Looks better with equipment on it. But, like I said, the only thing I measured at all was the width for the Neutron to fit in there. And like even these little shelves here, I just stuck the board in, drew a line, and cut. So, yeah, you can sort of see here, it's a little wavy. It's not super precise. It's very sturdy. If I put it on the ground, well, it's on the stub here, and it does get to the flat there, but it doesn't wobble or anything. It's going to be a good little synth stand with some room to expand, I think. Pretty pleased. It took me about to get this far. It took me about 3.5 hours to get all the stuff together and build it. Design well, I went over that with you guys a little bit earlier. Design took me probably about just as long, but even that, I drew that out freehand on cardboard. I'm trying to cut out the messy background here and make it in the way of the light. So it does have a bit of like a mid-century mod kind of feel to it, which I like because, well, it's synthesizers here. So that's it. I'm going to take it apart tomorrow because it just screws together. It's 12 screws, and I'm going to sand, route first, and sand, and I don't know, I might clear coat it or polyurethane it or something, maybe put some wood glue on there. But that's it. Next time it'll be looking a little prettier, but still, you know, uniquely mine, we'll call it that. So here's what I got done today. I took a router, and see if you can see, put a 45-degree bevel on both sides to kind of smooth that out, so it's not such a hard edge there. And I took a sander, sanded everything down real nice, and also I used a countersink so all the screws sit flat. I do like the shelves sticking out a little bit. I sanded those too, so there should be little to no splinter worry on any of it. I did fix one piece that had split, and then this piece did here, and then also on the back. I may just cover that up on the back with some duct tape or something, not so that you can see it in the front, just so you don't poke yourself if you forget. But I don't know that I'm going to take it all apart to try and fix that. I didn't do any stain or polyurethane or anything, and it's kind of really cold out right now. It's like freezing where I'm at. So I think that might wait until the summertime to do that. So yeah, that'll be a good summertime activity. I got some polyurethane, get a couple cheap plastic or cheap sponge paint brushes and just cover it all in plastic. But in the wintertime, it should be all right down here. The basement stays fairly moisture free. I think humidity hangs out around like 40 to 50% in the wintertime. So it is looking good. I just need to make a spot here. You can see this is my sort of old setup. I've got two lights. One of them's actually a kind of colored light, and then the camera mounts to here and shows straight down on the equipment. So I'll be moving that. It's actually an old copy stand. They used to use that to make actual photocopies. A camera would be mounted here. You'd have lights on either side and take a picture of the stuff that's on the base. There is a base underneath there. That's why it's not sitting straight at the moment, because it's not really, and it's on a bunch of cords. I just kind of plopped it down. But yeah, so it'll sit a little bit straighter, and I'll be moving the copy stand, and I'll have to figure out a way to record videos. I guess at some sort of angle so that you can see what I'm doing and all the cool stuff. So that will be my next task down here. Rearrange the sound lab so I can record and experiment. So yeah, this was a fun project. It was pretty easy to do. Cost me $0 out of pocket, everything I had laying around. And I'll make a list of tools and materials, but I mean, it's really just couldn't be easier. If I had there were some things where if I had better tools, maybe like a drill press or a scroll saw or a table saw or something like that. I probably could have done a better job, but I don't have them, and I used what I had, which is like a jigsaw and a drill and a sander. You don't even need the sander. You could use a block of wood and some sandpaper for that. But yeah, most of it was the jigsaw and the drill. The router, that's optional. You could have just left the edges. Yeah, if you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments. Thoughts, constructive criticism, ideas for next time, anything like that, you know, hit me up. If you want to see more stuff like synth stuff or pedal stuff or guitar stuff, definitely like and subscribe, hit the bell. I like doing these videos. They're fun for me, and I like it when they get out to more people. So thanks for following along with this project. I think it's pretty successful, and I hope I inspire you to do your own.